ESPN 94.1 FM and AM 930 present The Drive.
We're ready to go. Text line 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. We'll get those text lines going in just a few minutes as we are getting closer to the weekend. And, of course, we're getting closer to the start of football season. Today is one of those traditions for Marshall football fans that always signals the beginning of camp before we get to the season. The cemetery run was today. This has become more of a unique opportunity on a yearly basis because with the transfer portal over the last few years, there's been a large influx of players that have never gone through it. And there's also a few holdovers, players that have gone through it, that have been through it, know what it's about. And that number usually was the higher number, right? We had a lot of continuity. And then with the transfer portal fully taking over college athletics, you get a lot of players coming in, never, ever have done that before, don't know what that's about. And so today was the cemetery run. And a guy like Jalen Slappy, who's already been through it, he knows what that's all about, and he expressed that earlier today.
Same means everything to me. It's a very surreal moment every time we go here, go to the graveyard. And a lot of people don't really understand it. A lot of new guys, a lot of new coaches. But for me, it means a lot because we only get to go here twice a year. I'm going to try to go here at least another 2 times before the November 14th game. So it means everything in my heart. This is what I do it for. So
he's really taken ownership of it. He, of course, being one of the players that are coming back, and so has some experience with it. Now, what makes this really interesting is that it's also an opportunity for previous members of the football team to kind of explain what it's about. And I'm not talking about the speakers that are up on the cemetery. I'm not talking about any of that. What I'm talking about is what happens before and the feeding of the team. Norm Strickland, who's president of the Herd Brothers, he talked about that today because the Herd Brothers are former Thundering Herd football players. They're Herd Brothers. It's a brotherhood. So once a Herd Brother, always a Herd Brother, right? And I find that important now, just me, because with NIL and with the transfer portal, I mean, there are guys that are jumping year to year. Are they Herd Brothers? Yeah, you played at Marshall for a year and then you went to somewhere else. So if you played at Marshall and then you left and you went to Southern Miss, are you really a Herd Brother? So that concept is kind of foreign to me, that you can go to 3, 4, 5 different schools and, hey, you're a Herd Brother. Yeah. It used to be, hey, you went to Marshall, you graduated at Marshall, you spent years at Marshall, and that's what that meant to me is you got a brotherhood of guys that have been through it for years on a team, but the dynamics have changed a little bit, so it's probably something of an oddity here to have a group of student athletes being served breakfast by a group of former Thundering Herd athletes. And Norm Strickland, again, president of the Herd Brothers, talks about what this means and how important it is just to be out there cooking and feeding the team.
So what we are doing here today is we got the Herd Brothers together to serve the current team, and so the team is doing the run today. They get indoctrinated into the traditions of Marshall if they're new here, and what we want to do is be able to serve them a meal, have them see us physically serve them a meal, so they understand what being part of the Herd Brothers is all about. And in Southern West Virginia, you want to show somebody appreciation, you feed them. So that's what we're doing today. It helps us get to know the kids. Helps the kids understand that day one when they come in, they're a member of the Herd Brothers, that one day in this program, they're in the Herd Brothers, and we want them involved. They don't have to wait till they're gone. So we just want to show involvement and get them to learn the ways of the traditions at Marshall.
I think that's important because with the roster turnover on a yearly basis, who's passing that on? Who's the person that's taking responsibility for that? And you have some people that are on the team that could be considered veterans. How many of them are there compared to how many are new guys, all trying to fit in, form a unit, trying to find their place on their new team? And that's going to change every single year. You're going to have an influx of new players, not just freshmen. You don't have large classes ahead that have been there 2-3 years. You've got all different classes, and they're together for the first time. And so Norm talked about why this particular event, this particular service is important to Marshall, the athletes, and, of course, what the Hurd brothers do.
These kids have been lots of places, and every college football team says they're different. And they'll hear that everywhere, but really is different at Marshall. It just means more because of our history. And this is our first chance at some of these young guys to get them to learn the history and understand what they've joined and what they're part of.
So what's Jalen Slappy think of all this? Just having those guys there, he described them as the OGs, having those guys there serving breakfast.
The real OGs, these are real OGs. So it's always good to get knowledge from them and know their past and know what they've been through. Then their cooking is good also, so I just can't beat it.
So that's the real OGs right there, serving food. The real ones, not the fake ones, the real ones, and the cooking is good. So the food is good, the cooking is good, the Herd getting a chance to learn a little bit more about the history of the football program. And this has been a tradition that has really taken off over the years. I was actually over last year. I had to go over to sports medicine, and I was at the parking lot right beside the softball field. I could just smell it. I'm in the parking lot, across the street, the softball field, and I could just smell the breakfast, and I was like, what are they serving, and can I get some of that? Because it smelled real good. So I know Norm. Hey Norm, if you're listening, show some appreciation, man. I'll take breakfast. Whatever you guys are cooking up, I'll take breakfast. I mean, you know what I make here. You know what the pay is like here in broadcasting. I'll take breakfast. 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. That is our number to be a part of today's show. We will get you caught up on everything happening today, and we'll hear from you on this edition of The Drive, ESPN 94.1 and AM 930.
Feeling ready for a change? The Women Warrior Summit returns Friday, October 23rd in Huntington, West Virginia. This year, we'll explore the power of reinvention with stories about growth, change, and beginning again. Visit WomenWarriorSummit.com to learn more.
Summer starts here. It's Moses Auto Mall of Huntington 9th Street Live every Friday night in Huntington. Presented by Michelob Ultra, White Claw, Big Timber, and Country Boy Brewing. Friday, July 31st, it's the John Ingram Band. The Little Caesars Kids Zone is back, and Go-Mart Happy Hour starts at 5. Enjoy 9th Street libations from the Marshall Hall of Fame Cafe, Sip Downtown Brasserie, and Summit Beer Station. Featuring Tito's, Milagro Tequila, Rebel Bourbon, High Noon, and Lucky One. The after-show party takes place at Jerk Riley's at Pullman Square. Mark your calendar for August 7th for ONA. The Thundering Herd Rally with Madhouse is Friday, August 14th. Sponsored by Wendy's, Huntington Beverage Center, Sods, Apex Tech, The Great Outdoors Marine, Village Caregiving, Thoroughbred Express Wash, the City of Huntington, Marshall University, Blinko Glass Company, Marshall Health Network Arena, and Kendrick Communications.
Hey, you hungry for a win? There's always something good at the Marshall Hall of Fame Cafe. Kick off your week on Tuesday with our double play. Pick 2 of your favorite pasta and pizza combos for the price of 1. Get over the hump with Bangin' Wednesday and score $3 off the Hall of Fame Cafe's famous Bang Bang Shrimp. Thursday, it's Buds and Boneless Singo Bingo. Take the mic on Saturday for karaoke night. Wrap it all up with Sunday specials. It's all good all week and only at the Marshall Hall of Fame Cafe.
Save big money on your outdoor projects now at Menards. Create stunning patios, walkways, and retaining walls with our huge in-stock selection of durable concrete landscape blocks ready to take home today. Plus, get free estimates with our easy-to-use design program in-store or on Menards.com. Save big money on our smooth patio block on sale now through August 2nd. Plus, check out our weekly flyer for more great deals happening now.
Save big money at Menards. Oh, hi. Do you know what this is the sound of? It's the sound of me getting rewarded for doing my part to prevent wildfires. See, right now I'm getting a big, remarkably heartfelt bear hug from Smokey Bear. Thanks, big guy. And now we're shaking. Okay. First, I made sure there were no low-hanging branches when I set up my campfire. Hey, Smokey, let me down for just a second. I need to make sure everyone can hear this. There we go. Then, when we were packing up to leave, I drowned out my campfire, stirred it, drowned it out again, and then made sure to feel it if it was cold. Oh, Smokey Bear really loves it when you do that, don't you, Smokey? Oh, he lets his hugs do the talking. Visit SmokeyBear.com to learn tips to prevent wildfires.
Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
When I was little, I didn't talk for a long time. I liked things to always be the same. Anything new or different would scare and upset me. I was very sensitive to lights and sounds. It was almost like I had bigger eyes and ears than everyone else. So I built secret hiding places where nothing could get in. I didn't like looking people in the eye. It made me feel uncomfortable. I'd throw big tantrums over little things like when my socks didn't match. Sometimes I'd do the same things over and over. Until one day, I found out I had autism. My family got me help. Slowly, I learned how to live with it better.
You can see signs of autism in children as young as 18 months. Early intervention can make a lifetime of difference. Learn the signs at autismspeaks.org/signs. Brought to you by Autism Speaks and the Ad Council.
Hi, this is Dave Wilson, host of Metro News Talk Line, and you're listening to The Drive with Paul Swann on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930.
Thank you, Dave. Don't forget, coming up tomorrow. How can you forget? It's Metro News Talk Line. It's Friday. That means at the end of the show, it's going to be steam release. Get that off your chest tomorrow with Dave and TJ right here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. Our text line brought to you by Clark's Pump and Shop, 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. Headlines coming up. First, we got to talk about the Pirates and the Reds. Coming up tonight, 6:45, right here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. Pirates coming into this one 55-54. They are in the third spot in the NL Central. Reds are 50-57. They are fifth. What matters, though, is that the Pirates are 2 games back in the wild card. They had a real good shot here of being in the wild card right now, but now there are several teams ahead of them. They are 2 games back, trying to gain some ground. Rhett Lauder on the mound tonight for the Reds, 3-7 with a 5.61 ERA. Yohan Ramirez taking the mound for Pittsburgh. He's 6-3 with a 3.21 ERA. So this is what's going to happen tonight. We've got this one coming up tonight, tomorrow, and of course the weekend right here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. Headlines now. What's happening with the Cincinnati Bengals? If you are following the Bengals any depth, you know that it's just you're taking years off your life is what you're doing. And that's what the Bengals do. But there's good news, if you can call this good news. Zach Taylor telling reporters today that Cincinnati Bengals defensive end Shamar Stewart going to be out about multiple weeks right now is what we're looking at. It's a hyperextended left knee. He goes down Wednesday during team drills. I mean, it's opening day of training camp, for heaven's sake. Opening day of training camp. What are we doing here? We're already watching your first-round pick from 2025 go down. The good news is, according to Taylor, not that severe. Just a hyperextended left knee. The guy had so much promise, right? I mean, this is the guy you take. And how does it start with him? Well, you know, contract. The contract dispute stunted his growth and I think really did not help his progress. And then he gets injured. Week 2, right ankle, week 2, off the table. He had to miss 4 games. Then he had a knee injury, and he missed 5 games. He had 1 sack, started 5 of the 8 games he played in last year. And here he is again, hyperextended left knee. What is it about Bengals training camp? Is it the Bengals? Is it the surface? What do they need to do? Do they need to go to the Greenbrier? Yeah, instead of the Giants going to the Greenbrier, should the Bengals go to the Greenbrier and practice there in their facility, which is probably better? From our text line, texter says, Paul, Bengals should have picked Mike Green instead of Stewart with that pick. Yes, I was sitting watching the draft. I was like, okay, here we go. Mike Green's going to be a Bengal. I'm all for it. No, it's not Mike Green. It's Shamar Stewart. And I'm sitting there thinking, what are you doing? The Baltimore Ravens did not make that mistake. Now, did they? That's a perfect point there. Yeah. So I'm a little bitter about this one. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm a little bitter about this pick. Last year I didn't like it. I thought Mike Green, that you dialed that up perfectly. Here he is. He's right there. He's right there. All you have to do is say his name, put his name on the card, and you can do it in orange Sharpie if you like. I have one if you need one. Put Mike Green's name. Do it in green. Bit fancy. I don't care. Put his name on the card, hand it to the commissioner. Commissioner walks up and makes the pick. Mike Green, Cincinnati Bengal, and we all would have been happy. And Mike Green would be on the field right now practicing. Mike Green would be practicing. He would be on the field right now. But instead, you got this situation with Shamar Stewart, which, what are you losing here? Because you didn't really get much to begin with. I mean, you've revamped that defensive line. You've built that up a little bit. I mean, you don't go out and get Dexter Lawrence II and then tell me that you're not putting more emphasis on the defense. You don't do that. Texter says, Paul, the Bengals deserve to have to pay whatever Shamar Stewart can take them for. They're getting fleeced. Absolutely right. They're absolutely getting fleeced here because they made a bad pick. They made a bad pick. They're not very good, but Joe Burrow was right there. They had to do that. They could not mess that up. That's the one thing about the Joe Burrow pick. You can't mess that up. Here he is, generational talent, and you get him. Now you gotta protect him. You have to surround him with an offensive line that can protect him and move the ball for him or move the defense back. You have the offensive weapons that you need to make him go far, and you got to keep him healthy. You keep Joe Burrow healthy, upright, protected, and let him work, and I think you make a run. On the defensive side of the ball, though, you got to stop people. Cliche, yes. Expert analysis here. You got to stop people. And you have a guy like Shamar Stewart who hasn't shown me anything, and his injuries have been a big problem for the Bengals. 1 sack, 5 starts, 1 sack. Now, the Bengals were high on him coming into this season. He's a little bit more focused. Obviously, he should be a little bit more focused because he comes in. I mean, look, you come in with a contract dispute before we get to camp and before we get to the season, and you're already in contract dispute mode. There's a lot of expectations upon you. You're a rookie coming into the league. You're a high-paid rookie, but you're coming into the league, and you're already in a contract dispute. Get on the field like most football players do. Get on the field, get to work, prove your worth. This isn't working for minimum wage, which, by the way, there are a lot of people who work twice as hard for minimum wage. You're making stupid amount of money. So for the privilege of getting this stupid amount of money, you should have been ready to go right away, all in. Instead, you have that controversy. And then, of course, injuries are injuries. But here we are, another injury. So what is it? What do we have to do? What do we have to do to see the Cincinnati Bengals can keep players healthy in camp? Overall, though, it looks like things are going well. But again, this is camp. Lots of good crowds. I'll say this for the Cincinnati Bengals faithful. Lots of good participation from the crowds out there. And that's what's cool about NFL. With some of these camps, you get a chance to go out there and see these guys. It's sort of like a spectacle. It's a little different in college, isn't it? It's absolutely different than college because you have situations where they're working on stuff and they don't want you to see. Okay, we close practice, we close camp. We don't want you to see. I don't know if it would mean anything, but college and pro are different, obviously. But I like the fact that you could on a Wednesday morning, Thursday morning, you can take the kids down and you can go hang out with the Cincinnati Bengals as training camp begins. I mean, what are they really doing that is going to help the other team? I mean, you can see that. Like, what are they doing? What are they showing you that's going to, the other teams can use? It's completely different. It's apples and oranges, but they're doing a great job with giving the fans, just something. I mean, who wouldn't want to take their kid down? It's opening day. You might get an autograph signed, and there are fan events for college football teams. There are things like this, but this is a little different, and it's not like it's. Of course, this is the Bengals. They got to walk across the street. We got to get the traffic cop to stop traffic so the Bengals can walk across the street and go to the practice fields. It's different. Not a dedicated not a dedicated facility with dedicated facility needs. Instead, you walk across the street, and here you are. But it is an open venue, so it does make nice for the fans. 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. Our number to be a part of today's show here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930.
Hey, you hungry for a win? There's always something good at the Marshall Hall of Fame Cafe. Kick off your week on Tuesday with our double play. Pick two of your favorite pasta and pizza combos for the price of one. Get over the hump with Bangin' Wednesday and score $3 off the Hall of Fame Cafe's famous Bang Bang Shrimp. Thursday, it's Buds and Boneless Singo Bingo. Take the mic on Saturday for karaoke night. Wrap it all up with Sunday specials. It's all good all week and only at the Marshall Hall of Fame Cafe.
This fall, plan a getaway to West Virginia's state parks. Scenic hikes, mountain tram rides, cozy cabins, and brilliant fall color are all waiting along our country roads. Best of all, it's closer and more affordable than you think. Gather your crew and start planning now. Visit wvstateparks.com.
Builders, renovators, organizers. Rent-A-Can portable restrooms and roll-off dumpster rentals is who you need. Whether it's a construction site, home cleanup, disaster relief, we've got you covered. Portable restrooms for convenience, roll-off dumpsters for waste. You fill it up, we'll haul it off. Fast delivery, easy pickup. Rent-A-Can portable restrooms, roll-off dumpster rentals. Rent-A-Can has the facilities you need. No job is too big or too small. Rent-A-Can. Call Chuck at 304-429-5218. That's 304-429-5218.
Hi, I'm Kelly Clarkson, and I've toured the country dozens of times, and there's one thing every state has in common: childhood hunger. The sad truth is that 17 million kids don't know where their next meal is coming from, or if it's even coming at all. Yet there are billions of pounds of surplus food around the country at farms and warehouses that could help end this injustice. But all that food is useless if it doesn't get where it needs to go. That's why the Feeding America nationwide network of food banks gathers surplus food and gets it to hungry kids before it goes to waste. But they can't do it without your help. Join me in supporting Feeding America and your local food bank. Find out how at feedingamerica.org. Together we can solve hunger. Together we're Feeding America.
To help solve hunger in your community and to find your local food bank, visit feedingamerica.org. That's feedingamerica.org. Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
We asked kids what it took to be a dad. This is what they had to say.
A father is always present. I mean, what real father figure can you have if they're not there?
In order to be a good dad, you need to love your son. You need to put gas in your car so you don't break down in the middle of nowhere. And you need to make them breakfast. Yep.
I mean, just to maybe play like a board game with me, or to just stay home and play some video games with me. Just to do like that one little thing is what I really look forward to.
I'm not asking him to be a perfect dad, but he should try. He's just a constant force in my life.
There's no other type of love like a dad's love because it's not comparable to anything else.
Take time to be a dad today. Call 877-4DAD-411 or visit fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
Hi everyone, I'm Kristen Bell, and I invited you here to my hotel room to talk about your cheeks. Your big, beautiful cheeks. Get your mind out of the gutter. I'm talking about swabbing them. Did you guys know that each year 20,000 Americans with blood cancer are searching for their life-saving marrow match? Can you even believe that? I mean, people need marrow, you guys, and we have it. So here's how we can help. It's really, really simple. All you have to do is swab your cheek, this cheek. Then go to Gift of Life Marrow Registry. It's so easy, anyone can do it. And in case you're wondering, if you're a match, donating, it's a lot easier than you think. So wherever you are, go ahead and swab that cheek. Go to giftoflife.org and get a free kit sent to your home, or find a donor drive in your area so that you can swab a cheek and save a life. It's only a minute of your time, but it can give someone else the rest of their life.
You're listening to The Drive with Paul Swann on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930.
Our text line brought to you by Clark's Pump and Shop, 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. Been trying to follow along with the Save College Sports Act here. It's not happening right now. Let's just say the Big Ten, the SEC, still not on board with this thing. I mean, we're hanging up on loopholes right now. We've got the cap, and then there's retention money, and then there's trying to figure out third-party deals, all of this stuff that is just going nowhere right now. Senate's taking off. I'm taking off next week. The Senate's taking off next week. This isn't getting done. And trying to just follow along and look at the fallout from this, it's still not dead. It's still not dead. But NCAA President Charlie Baker put this statement out. After speaking with conference leaders and university presidents in recent days, one thing is clear. There is overwhelming consensus that targeted intervention from Congress is necessary. I am grateful to Senators Cruz and Cantwell for making meaningful changes to strengthen this bill. This is the legislation we need now. It will grant student athletes unprecedented academic, health, and wellness benefits, rein in out-of-control agents, and stabilize transfer eligibility and revenue sharing rules. While no bill is perfect, I implore college sports leaders and senators to support this bill now. It is our best chance to deliver the benefits and level playing field student athletes deserve while providing the protections institutions need to sustain college athletics long term. That's the statement. How much of this is the NCAA's fault to begin with? And then how much of it is the fact that, I mean, what can the NCAA do? You got to get everyone on the same page, and you're not going to get everyone on the same page. They might say they're going to be on the same page, but the bigger conferences are going to do what's in the best interest of the bigger conferences. They probably want more money. They want a larger cap. They want to flex the muscle they have. They don't want it to be competitive across the board for all. Sure, they want rules and regulations, and they want protections, and they want some sense of cohesiveness. I get it, but do we want the rules to be that good where Marshall could maybe work its way up? If we're all playing under the same numbers here, we're playing with the same numbers and everything, Marshall could maybe squeeze itself in and compete for a national championship. Who knows? Again, it comes down to the money. You remember, the money used to go to everything but facilities, right? That was the big war. We're building facilities. Doc Holliday would say, these kids come in and they buy with their eyes. They see the facilities and go, wow, I want to be here. Now it's facilities are great. Everybody's got those. What's my NIL look like? And I'm not saying that's across the board with every single student athlete, but that's what's happening across the board. It's what's my NIL. And I don't know how that has benefited overall the game of football. On the flip side, and the reverse argument is that, hey, the market's going to determine these things. The market will determine. These student athletes have more power now because of the NIL. And so the market's going to determine all of this. To be fair, this isn't an issue in baseball. Baseball, this is not an issue because baseball isn't using college baseball as its primary source of talent development. There's a minor league system in place, a system that seems to be working well for Major League Baseball. For the National Hockey League, NCAA hockey has gotten a lot better, and it's proving to be more of a viable path for a lot of potential future athletes in the National Hockey League. It's a viable path now. It's not the only path. It's not the only place that the talent comes from, and you still have a minor hockey league system. You still have checks and balances, right? You have a path. You have a system. You can be drafted and still participate in college. You can go different routes. It's different. It works. In the NBA, you're drafted or you go down to the G League, possibly. You could go overseas and maybe work your way in. There are some alternatives. There are some different ways, some different paths, but primarily you're getting drafted, you're playing in the NBA, or you're going to work your way up from the G League, if that is something that makes sense. The NFL, primarily, where did it get its talent from? Straight out of college. And sometimes these kids are not waiting they're not going to finish their college career. They're going to get to the point where, okay, I'm at that threshold now or I'm eligible. The value is I'm going to the NFL. Now you got to be one of the really top prospects to make that move because now the money's pretty good at the college level. You can sustain yourself for a little while. You can take a couple of NIL deals. Hey, you could go to the NFL, young man, but if you stay here, you're going to make pretty good money for a couple more years, and then you can pursue your career in the NFL. And unless you're a super elite talent, and you know you're automatic first rounder, pretty much it makes sense to play out your career in college football these days. It just makes sense because if you're really good and you're at that level, there's money for you. This isn't like most of the situations that we encountered before where these kids are making financial decisions by leaving college. Now they're making financial decisions by staying in college because the market has determined there's a way to compensate these student athletes. And of course, some of it's above board, some of it's not above board. Notre Dame's getting multi-million dollars for a patch deal. Ohio State's getting multi-million dollars for a patch deal. The Big 12, it's throwing cash around, maybe not as much, for changing its logo to include the Monster brand of energy drinks in the logo. Marshall's one of the first schools to do the patch deal with Marshall Health. Now, is it Notre Dame money? No. Is it Ohio State money? No. But it's money nonetheless coming in, trying to figure out how you're going to pay for all of this, the athletic department, the revenue sharing, NIL. You're going to have a retention fund if this thing passes in the House and the Senate. If this thing actually becomes law, you're going to have the ability to have a retention fund. So you can go out and say, well, hey, before you think about leaving, we got I'm not for the retention fund. It's like, okay, so I have some market value. I'm going to go out there or maybe I can get a little bit more money elsewhere. And I know that they want me here, so I might put myself out there only to try to see if I can get a piece of this retention fund. At least that's how I would look at it. I'd game it that way. I mean, I'd make sure I have some solid offers on the table. I wouldn't play Russian roulette here with my career, but like, okay, there's a retention fund. Yeah, let me see if I can get a piece of that. 304-396-TALK. The text line, 304-396-8255. This is The Drive.
Summer is here, and that means more motorcyclists enjoying West Virginia's country roads. When we're on the road, it's everyone's responsibility to keep each other safe. So, give motorcycles a full lane width. Check your blind spots and use your blinker when changing lanes. And allow more follow distance behind motorcycles because it takes them longer to stop. These simple rules will help keep everyone safe on the road. Share the road with motorcycles. This message is brought to you by the West Virginia Governor's Highway Safety Program.
Get the last roof you'll ever need with steel roofing from Menards. Steel roofing provides your home with the best protection from wind, hail, and fire. Choose from 29 stylish colors to enhance your home's appearance. Available in cut-to-length panels that cover a large area for fast installation. Shop our selection of roofing products today. Plus, check out our weekly flyer on Menards.com for all the great deals happening this week.
Save big money at Menards. Summer starts here. It's Moses Auto Mall of Huntington 9th Street Live every Friday night in Huntington. Presented by Michelob Ultra, White Claw, Big Timber, and Country Boy Brewing. Friday, July 31st, it's the John Ingram Band. The Little Caesars Kids Zone is back, and Go-Mart Happy Hour starts at 5. Enjoy 9th Street libations from the Marshall Hall of Fame Cafe, Sip Downtown Brasserie, and Summit Beer Station, featuring Tito's, Milagro Tequila, Rebel Bourbon, High Noon, and Lucky One. The after-show party takes place at Jerk Riley's at Pullman Square. Mark your calendar for August 7th for ONA. The Thundering Herd Rally with Madhouse is Friday, August 14th. Sponsored by Wendy's, Huntington Beverage Center, Sods, Apex Tech, The Great Outdoors Marine, Village Caregiving, Thoroughbred Express Wash, the City of Huntington, Marshall University, Blinko Glass Company, Marshall Health Network Arena, and Kendrick Communications.
Okay, gang. So, chances are there'll never be an emergency ever again. But, just in case, let's talk about a plan.
Okay.
So, who's gonna do what? Anyone? Yeah, okay, perfect. We'll figure it out as we go. So, who is going to grab the go bag?
What's a go bag? It is a bag we do not have that is filled with things we really need in an emergency.
Guess we won't have to worry about it then.
Ah, good point. So, we all know who to call if something happens then, right?
I'd have to call Jill, Devin, Melissa, Karen, and Bruce.
And I will try to call all of you, but Greg doesn't have a cell phone. Dad's phone will have a dead battery.
No doubt.
And Julie will be on the phone with Jill, Devin, Melissa, Karen, and Bruce.
Well, this is great. I am so glad that we don't have a plan.
I know.
Winging it is not an emergency plan. Make sure your kids know what to do during an emergency, who to call, where to meet, what to pack. Visit ready.gov/kids for tips and information. A public service announcement brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
What's your favorite high school sports memory? A late inning rally? A game-winning shot? A photo finish? Maybe it's a pep rally or a pregame ritual. Maybe it's the euphoria of a late-night bus ride home after a hard-fought win. Maybe it's having pizza with teammates after the game. Now, imagine if it never happened at all. School sports need your help. With budgets getting tighter, it's more than the games that are on the line. It's all the traditions, the community pride, the culture of your hometown high school. Plus, all those memories that are on the line, too. What can you do? It's simple. Buy a ticket when you can. Go to a game. Take the whole family. Let's do everything we can to keep those cherished school sports memories alive.
This message presented by the West Virginia Secondary School Activities Commission and the West Virginia Athletic Directors Association.
Today, a new creature walks among us, causing fear, mayhem, and injury.
Stay back, children.
Look out for the dreaded digital deadwalkers. With faces pressed against their little handheld devices, they put all good citizens in harm's way.
Hey, dude, I'm walking here.
Oh, sorry, I didn't see you.
A public service message from the American Academy of Orthopedic Surgeons, who want to keep everyone well connected with healthy bones.
This is The Drive on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. Follow at Paul Swann on X for Marshall sports updates and more.
Final segment for today's edition of The Drive on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. We've got our text line open at 304-396-TALK. That is 304-396-8255. West Virginia opening. Check that. The West Virginia Open entering Friday's final round with former Marshall golfer Ryan Bilby in the lead. 7 under par after 6 under second round of 66. So keeping an eye on that also. U.S. Elite, along with Marshall coach Morgan Zirkle, facing off against Chinese Taipei right now in the International Cup as we follow along there. Coach Z playing for U.S. Elite. I think Coach Z is going to be playing for U.S. Elite or Pro Baseball. I'm sorry, I say baseball only because I just saw something. The Pro Baseball League, Women's Pro Baseball League is coming. It's actually coming. It's going to be a thing. I think ESPN just signed a deal with there. So I'm sitting. Could Coach Z play baseball? Probably. Coach Z can do anything. So there's a lot going on today, and obviously the big story this morning, the absolute big story today, was that the Kentucky alumni team La Familia beat the Kansas alumni team JHX 78-65. So La Familia will play host either to Davis Steel or the Mecca Sunday afternoon at 1 o'clock at, quote, historic Memorial Coliseum for the $2 million TBT title. Davis Steel and the Mecca tonight, 7 o'clock in Las Vegas. Recapping baseball, yesterday the Diamondbacks did the Pirates in 3-0. The Guardians did a similar number to the Reds, 6-1. Reds playing host to the Pirates tonight, 6:45 right here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. Cleveland, after a job well done against the Reds, has today off. Some high school news across the area. Pete Fraley has retired after 14 years as athletic director of Boyd County High School. He's being replaced by Clayton McClellan. Also, in addition, former Marshall and Middle Tennessee women's basketball star Savannah Wheeler, now an assistant coach for Boyd County girls basketball. So good to have her back in the area. Also, Greg Adams is the new head boys basketball coach at Fairview. Adams is a former Ashland Middle School head coach. So a lot of things happening as we are ramping up toward the start of course, football season with the pros already underway. The run earlier today for the Marshall football team. We had comments earlier about that. And I wish I was over by the Shoey or by the football stadium today because they were cooking it up. I saw some of the video from the deck. They were cooking it up. We need to open that up a little bit more. I mean, maybe I can get the Hurd brothers to kind of come in and give us a sampler plate of what that's about. We could do that, right? We could absolutely do that. Hey, here's a sampler, but this is what the players will be experiencing when we cook it up. I mean, you heard Jalen Slappy. I mean, he was talking about how well they can cook. They cook well, so he's all about it. And so he should be. I mean, that's how you win somebody over. A football player, you want to win them over, you cook them a big meal. Absolutely. Text line 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. Here's one. Texter says, sometimes I feel like Carl Lee doesn't get enough recognition from Marshall. What are your thoughts? I don't think that Carl Lee gets mentioned a lot, or at least in our immediate area. Carl's got things going on. I know he's doing some radio programming. I know he's got that program that he's on. Maybe we can get him on sometime. Honestly, I don't follow his radio show or his podcast. I don't follow it that closely. So, but I know he still does it. And outside of our immediate area, our immediate little tri-state area, I mean, Carl Lee is still. I mean, he hasn't faded off into obscurity. It just, you don't hear much about him here. There's not a lot of people talking about Carl. Is it because maybe he's from a different age generation. People are still talking about Chad and Byron and Randy and guys like that. But yeah, how do you propose that Marshall gives him more recognition? Is it Marshall the institution? Is it Marshall? Talking about Marshall fans. Maybe Carl doesn't have that much of a dialogue with certain people at Marshall University. Maybe he does, and he just wants to keep it quiet. Who knows? But as far as this recognition, yeah, Carl Lee's a very important figure. Marshall University, 100%. You can't discount what he meant. He makes it to the NFL, very prominent inside the state afterwards. He was a head coach at West Virginia State. I mean, wasn't a winning football coach, but that doesn't matter. He was still, in the game. He did get into the Hall of Fame in 1995. Did some high school football coaching as well. So Carl's around. Carl is still around. It's just we don't really say much about him because, he's just living his life, right? So he doesn't come up in maybe a lot of conversations. But if you look at what he meant, he was a 7th-round pick in the NFL, 169 games. That's an accomplishment for anybody. Started in 144, 31 interceptions, 779 tackles. Oh, by the way, he returned 2 of those interceptions for touchdowns, so a couple pick sixes there. And he's a Pro Bowler in 88, 89, and 90. He makes the team. He plays for 11 years. He makes the team for the Vikings in 83, and he's in the Pro Bowl in 88, 89, and 90. And then he finishes out his football career at the Saints. So his totals are, including the Saints, 152 of 181 games started, 799 tackles, 31 interceptions, 2 touchdowns, and 7 fumble recoveries. That's a solid career right there. And he's a meaningful player for the Thundering Herd. He made the Vikings' 40th anniversary team. He made the Minnesota Vikings All Mall of America field team, named one of the 50 greatest Vikings, first team All-Pro in 88. And he showed that, hey, you can get to the NFL from here. You can get to the NFL from here. And for a while, when you talked about Marshall football players, the conversation had to focus a lot on Carl Lee because, well, who else was making their way to the NFL? Who else was getting that push? So Carl Lee is very important. And who knows? Maybe this will begin the renaissance of us remembering Carl Lee a little bit better than we have. That's going to do it for this edition. Thanks for tuning in. I'll be back with you tomorrow here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930.
WRBC Huntington, W227BS Huntington, your flagship home of the Marshall Thundering Herd and The Drive with Paul Swann, ESPN 94.1 FM and AM 930.